Hey everybody, in this video we're going to cover Python modules. Now in the last project, the build or guess a number, building the guess my number project, we used a module. Now in this, and we used a random module. Now in this video, I'm going to cover what exactly are Python modules and how to use them. So let's consider why we need a module. Now we're given our core, we're able to do certain things in Python, but if we want to extend our functionality, right? So for example, if we want to generate that random number, then we're going to need some extra functionality, and that's going to exist in modules. All modules are is just a bunch of code that we can call and that we can use to help us in whatever situation we want. And there's pretty much modules in Python for everything. We're going to go over two of the main ones here, math and datetime, but there's third-party modules, which we'll cover in the next video, and how to install them and everything, and so much more. So let's get started here. So say for example, I want to get the ceiling of a number. Now the ceiling of a number is going to be the next integer up from that number. So let me give you an example. So if I had the 3.4, the ceiling of that number would be 4, right? Because I'm taking the next integer, which would be 4. If I had 3.1, that would also be 4, because what's the next integer from 3.1? Well, that would be 4. Now I can write this by myself, but a key principle in programming is why reinvent the wheel? Why write code that's already out there? So let's do this. Let's import our ceiling functionality. Now this is going to exist in the math module, and the math module, the datetime module, and a whole bunch of other modules are going to exist in what's called the Python standard library. And this is a library of functions that the creators of Python wrote for us already that we can just import right off the bat. If you want to use third-party modules, we'll have to install them, but we'll go over that in the next video. And all these Python library modules are located at this URL to the left right here. I'll also put it in the video description. So we're going to do import math, and what that does is it's going to say I'm going to take in the math module. I'm going to import it. It's going to be available to me. And now I can do the math.ceiling of 3.2 to get 4. Now what's going on here? In this first bar here, we're accessing our module, right? Math. And then we're going to use this dot operator to kind of go inside the module, and we're going to then call the ceiling function, which and then takes in an argument, 3.2, and outputs 4. And we can likewise see our floor functionality, say 2.8, and the floor, so you have ceiling and then you have floor, which will take the lowest, the lowest integer, the next lowest integer. So what do I mean by that? 2.8 goes to 2, right? We kind of look down the integer, right? If we're dealing with 2, what's the lowest integer beneath it, or the closest integer, in a way to say it, which would be 2. So we could do math.floor, math.ceil. Some other notation is that if we want to import, so say we don't want to type out the word math, and this is going to be especially applicable to other Python libraries, or modules rather, that are kind of long out to write, we could do import math as m. So we can kind of rename it and do m.ceil 3.2. So if we want to rename anything, and maybe you think the naming is not very descriptive, you can rename the module. And finally, say we're going to use ceil and floor a lot, and we just want those functions, or more importantly, say you want to make your code efficient. When you import math, you're importing everything, every function in the math library. But say we just want 2 functions. Say we just want ceil and floor. What we can do is we could say, hey, from the math module, I want to import floor and ceil. So I'm going to import floor, ceil. And now, the beauty of this is that I have these functions, I just imported them, although it's moot point because I already imported the whole thing before. But now, when I do from blank import blank, now I don't need to do the math dot, I could just say ceil of 3.2. That's the beauty of that. So let's go over the datetime library. Another library that is helpful in getting the dates, the current date, the current time, and doing all kinds of date manipulation. So let's just get the current time right here, maybe the current year. So we're going to import datetime, again, available in the Python standard library. And we can get the current time, which would be datetime.datetime. That is not a typo. Basically this is going to be a submodule of this module. But anyway, we have that. So now we have the current datetime, and there we go. And to get the current year, we could do now.year. Alright guys, see you in the next video when we do third-party libraries.